Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on looking ahead to trading opportunities in 2010. This is one in a series of live webcasts offered by TraderPlanet.com through collaboration with our community contributors and other well-known industry speakers. Today is Tuesday, January 5th. Thank you for joining us. I am Darrell Jobman, your host for today's session with Darrell Jobman, a senior analyst for TraderPlanet.com. Today's webcast takes place at a specific date and time, and therefore any opinions given by our presenter may change without notice at any time. Trading involves substantial risk of loss and therefore may not be suitable for all investors, and past performance is not indicative of future results. This webinar is being recorded and will be archived on TraderPlanet.com, so you will be able to review it at a later time. You can also find additionally previously recorded webinars among our other free educational resources within our site at www.TraderPlanet.com. Today's presenter, Darrell Jobman, trades his own personal account and has been involved in the financial markets for more than 40 years. A decorated Vietnam War veteran, he was a newspaper farm editor and editor of several agricultural publications before becoming an editor of Futures magazine for more than 15 years. He has written and or edited more than a dozen books and trading courses on trading. His mission is helping others succeed by learning the do's and don'ts of trading. Through his editorial contributions to TraderPlanet.com, he has really been able to satisfy this passion. We're so happy to have him visit with us today. Let's give a warm welcome to Darrell Jobman.
Thank you, Darrell, for that kind introduction, and Happy New Year to everyone out there. We know we've had a couple of tough years to trade. Maybe 2010 will be better. To start, I want to check with you on whether you have audio. If you will see that little man that's in the lower left corner of your screen, next to him a little arrow there pointing down, that's a menu. If you would look at that menu, and if you can hear me okay, the audio's okay, everything's fine, click I agree. So I can get kind of a sense here of who is all able to hear me fine. Okay? Looks like we have some pretty good audio. People are able to hear what I'm saying. So let's get into what we want to talk about today. First of all, how many people out there have made a New Year's resolution, which is kind of the thing to do now? I resolved to trade better in 2010. If that's you, click on I agree. For that little man, click on I agree if you have made that resolution. Probably like one of those resolutions like we'll lose weight, we'll exercise, we'll do this, we'll do that. So I see some people agree they have resolved that they will trade better. Now let's clear that one, and let's say, are you a new or an inexperienced trader? In other words, you're relatively new to the game, you want to learn some more about trading, what makes it work. If that's you, if that describes you, you're a new trader, click on I agree. Okay. Looks like we have a mix of people here who are on board. All right. We have some that are trading for a while, some that are brand new. So we're going to try to direct this one to just about everybody. And if you have questions along the way, you're welcome to ask those, although I will probably be answering them, holding them until the end. One of the points I want to make, first of all, is about our data provider, CRB. They've been around many years. We turn over another year, and I think this is, if I remember correctly, something like their 76th year, so they've been around quite a while. If you do have any questions, there is that little chat box on the lower left side to enter your question. And today we're going to do a little different than we have done in some previous webcasts, and that is we're going to talk about some different markets. And if you have a particular market that you would like to see covered, just make a note of that in the box if you want to do gold or whatever. I have, I think, 8 or 9 different market charts that I have up there. But if there's anything that particularly strikes you, put it in that box, and I'll try to catch those as I go along, because at some points I can't always see the questions that are being asked. And then secondly, when we do get to the charts, if you will do the little toggle to go to full screen, it'll help you see more of the details as we talk about the various points. Now, when we talk about the markets, as I mentioned before, we had some rough years in the past. Hopefully, years never seem to be the same. They kind of alternate between being trending and wild and kind of relatively tame, and you know, who knows what we're in for in 2010. But I want to review some of the key markets with a series of 2-year charts. I think, first of all, that puts the current price action into perspective, and then secondly, it reminds they can occur at any time with the right set of circumstances, including in 2010. The first one I have up there is the S&P 500 Index E-mini. As you know, frequently we have heard that little expression, you know, belong in November until May, then go away. Well, look what happened when you look at what happened in 2009. You had a situation where we didn't want to go away. The market just kept going up, 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 kind of a steady tick to the top, and kind of one of those situations that if you have a 401k or whatever with mutual funds, not a bad year. But when you compare it with some previous years, you'll see that we did go up 23.4% in this last year. But when you look back, look where we were at 10 years ago, 1485. We're still quite a ways below that level. And I think the loss there, if you figure it out percentage-wise, we had a lost decade there in stocks where we lost about 25% or a little bit over 25%. And it was even worse, of course, when we had the situation in March when the low reached 666. Let's go now to another chart. Dow Jones, same type of action that you see here. You remember we had this situation back in 2007, that high where we peaked, and it was a pretty spectacular market. Who would have thought that we would have had the chaos that we had throughout this year, here 2008, 2009, but the decade again was a loser. We were above 11,000 in 2000. Now, of course, we are striving to get back to that mark, but it's been quite a struggle, even though we have been ticking up for the last 6 months or so. Other markets that we're going to look at: the U.S. dollar, key market. It's making a lot of noise recently, but when you look at it, you look at this little rally right here, the end of the December. It's still kind of just a blip on the screen overall when you look at what has happened over the last couple of years. When you have this high up in here, you have a low down here, and it looked like we were going to be threatened